So it was I went that night to an isolated spot in the woods, drew my circle, stripped naked, and wrapped a snakeskin with the 99 marks around my waist like a girdle, and on the midnight hour drank the foul potion that contained a residue of the magic of the dragon race. I and the other 8-pack members hadn't really expected anything to happen, but this time we scored a bullseye with one shot. My heart immediately began racing. I began to sweat, and as my physical body fell in a heap to the ground, I realized I wasn't in it, and I wasn't alone. At the edges of my protective circle, I saw 3 gigantic reptilian shapes looking hungrily at me. Not the shell of flesh and blood that had peeled away from me. I was the object of interest of 3 ghostly dragonesses, and as they opened their toothy maws wide, I felt myself pulled apart and sucked into each one like a vacuum cleaner. Then I blacked out. When I recovered my senses, I found myself in an unfamiliar place, in an unfamiliar dragon form, and in the process of experiencing my first pangs of pain. As I tried to push the huge dragon's egg that had swelled up in my belly, I screamed in pain as my hips began to stretch wide as hormones flooded my alien birth canal. But what came out of my snout was a draconic roar of pain. I curled over my 4 quarters as best I could and tried to push out the huge egg out of me with my 4 talons, but to no avail. As the pain briefly ebbed away, I realized with horror some unknown draconic magic had fused my soul with a magically summoned dragoness body, complete with all the joys of egg-laying that came with being one of the dragon race. Then, just as I noticed the protective birthing circle enclosing me, the labor pains returned, and I squatted down on my hind legs and clutched a nearby pair of trees with inhuman strength as the pain intensified 1,000-fold. And my magical dragon's egg began to slide past my widening pelvis, and I pushed it out of me.